Hey, what's up guys, Tajumi here. In this video we're going to talk about the team that got me to Master Ball. Keep in mind it's not perfect, but it did get me there. I did build it off of VP first, and then I sent over my shinies from home once I got to Master Ball. Now keep in mind this team, it worked for me. It was really cool. Basically we based it around Mega Aggron and Trick Room. So keep in mind it can be improved, but this is the team that got me there. So again, the team concept, basically we have a core of 4 Pokemon that we pretty much always bring in, and 2 flexible slots. That kind of like, oh, they have this, that counters that. We can send those 2 Pokemon instead. Our first core team is a Trick Room team, basically the main win condition, and our second team is actually a Sand team, which is really cool. So we have 2 modes. We either have Trick Room or Sand, depending on the matchups that we have. Alright, the first Pokemon on our team is Mimikyu, the Fairy Ghost type Pokemon. It is our Trick Room setter, and the ability Disguise basically guarantees a setup. If you don't know what Disguise does, basically if you get hit, you do take a little bit of damage, but again, it nullifies all that damage as well too. So basically you get hit once, your Disguise goes down, you have to get hit again, and looking at the defensive typings on our Mimikyu, it's at 102, and also special defense is 125. Also, Mimikyu is more of an attacker, with the very aggressive 156 attack stat when you have Adamant plus, again, all the EVs invested into it. So people think you're going to attack with either Play Rough or a strong Shadow move. But instead, we're just setting up Trick Room. The moves that we have are Shadow Sneak. What's really great about this is that it's a priority 1 physical move. It does only 40 power, but again, basically, if Trick Room is set up, you can still do priority moves to go first. So even though if Mimikyu is faster than our Torkoal, we can do Shadow Sneak as well while it's in Trick Room. Next attack we have is Play Rough. Play Rough is 90 damage, 90 accuracy, single target. Also has a 10% chance of lowering a target's attack stat. But again, it's really good against Garchomps. A lot of Dragon-type Pokemon don't like Fairy-type Pokemon, and Mimikyu is a really strong attacker. That's why I Play Rough. Next is Protect. Protect is always a great move for any VGC doubles team. You basically protect yourself from any incoming damage. Watch out for those encore spams though, right? And again, Trick Room, basically it hits the entire field. The entire field is in Trick Room status for 5 turns, and basically what Trick Room is, the slowest Pokemon goes first. So the great thing about that is slow Pokemon are very bulky, and they have very big attacks, like big attack stats, but the way to kind of like balance them out is because they're slower, so they'll go second, right? But if you have Trick Room, it basically just switches that and makes them go first. Now, the item that we have is Mental Herb for our Mimikyu, and basically what Mental Herb does, it's an anti-taunt item. So basically, if you get taunted by a Whimsicott or just any Pokemon that has taunt, you can't use any non-damaging moves. Mental Herb basically breaks that for 1 turn. So basically, say for example, we click Trick Room, we get taunted, the Mental Herb pops off, and we can still use the Trick Room. For EVs, I go max HP, max attack, and then we go Adamant because we don't really need a bulky, kind of a bulky set because we have the Disguise. And then we just basically put it into defense because there's a lot of physical attackers, and our special defense bulk is pretty big. So again, basically, we survive any attacks that come up. We set up Trick Room and basically just swap out for the next Pokemon on our team. Also, the cool thing about Mimikyu too is it's known as to be a physical attacker, right? So say Trick Room ends and we pull him out and bring him back in. Again, he has a 116 speed stat. He's pretty good. So say Trick Room does end and we have Mimikyu still, we could still use Mimikyu as a player of attacker. Again, with 156 attack as well as Shadow Sneak. So it's kind of a cool way to use Mimikyu as a Trick Room setter, take him out, and then when Trick Room ends, he comes back in and he sweeps as well too. Alrighty, the second Pokemon on the team is Torkoal. He's basically a Trick Room sweeper with the ability Drought that sets up the sun. And also boost fire type moves in the sun as well too. So first attack is Eruption. Again, 150 special attack with 100% accuracy. The less HP the user has, the lower the damage that this attack does. How do we get this move off? Basically, we set Trick Room with Mimikyu turn 1, and then we just basically protect. And now again, we can't get faked out because we already did protect. Mimikyu get faked out because again it's a ghost type. So Mimikyu sets her Trick Room, and then Torkoal can now Eruption because it's at a slow, devastating speed of 36. That is super slow, right? So basically, we're hitting with 150 special attack, eruptions every single turn. Also with Charcoal, that boosts up fire damage, and also with the sun, it does so much damage and just basically sweeps anything on the board, right? Now the next move is we have is Heat Wave. Heat Wave is a 95 base power with 90 accuracy. We have this in case Torkoal does start taking damage. Because obviously, like if you had a quarter health, that Eruption is not going to do that much. So we have Heat Wave to switch into that. It's still a great spread move, and your Sun is still basically just Torkoal's there to just basically spam Eruptions and Heat Waves. Now, if you do go against a Fire-type Pokemon or Pokemon that are really resistant to fire, we have Body Press. Now, Body Press is great because the damage dealt by this move is calculated by the user's defense stat instead of its attack stat. Torkoal, he's a big boy. Again, 162 defense So again, that's very, very big bulk for this very, very slow mon, right? And then we have Protect, again, just to protect for things, also to protect yourself while Trick Room is being set up. So, EVs, we have max attack, we have max special attack, and we have a little bit in defense, and then we have, that's for the body press. And then we also have the nature, which is quiet. It lowers your speed even more and boosts your special attack even more as well too. So, again, basically these are the two cores. It's great. Mimikyu sets up the Trick Room, and then we blast with Torkoal's Eruptions, and then we swap out Mimikyu into our either next Pokemon that can start helping Torkoal out as well too. Alrighty, the third Pokemon on the core team is Mega Aggron. Basically, it is just a tank that can't be put down. We do have the Mega Stone on it, but the moves are basically Iron Defense, which increases your defense by +2, which is absolutely bonkers. Like, keep in mind, max stats is 6. So if you do this 3 times, our defense is big. Keep in mind, we don't have any defense into Aggron. If you want to max out defense, you can, but it's already 202 without any EV investments, right? We have 2 in there, obviously, but the reason why is when you evolve into Mega Aggron, your defense goes to 230, which is absolutely insane. So that's why we didn't put any into defense. Now, yeah, you can if you want, but I feel like that's overkill. Keep in mind, we are using Iron Defense, so we're boosting our defense even higher than that. So, but that is basically, again, Mega Aggron. The next move is Body Press, the same thing that Torkoal has. This damage is calculated by our defense stat. So that's why we have nothing in attack as well, too. We also have Heavy Slam. The reason why we have Heavy Slam is the more the user outweighs the target, it deals that much more damage. So it ranges from 40 to 120. Mega Aggron is insane. With the ability also Heavy Metal, it doubles the weight of this Pokemon. We also have Protect because it doubles. It's a really good move to have. Also, when it does Mega Evolve, it has Filter, which reduces super effective damage. Now, keep in mind that Mega Aggron's special defense is pretty low. And pretty much that's how it does get KO'd. So we actually added some special defense into our Mega Aggron with that EVs, and we gave it a Sassy Nature to lower its speed and increase special defense. So if you look at it now, 202 defense, 117 HP, and then 123, which is still pretty good for, again, special defense. And then with the ability Filter as a Mega Aggron, it reduces the special effective damage on it. So, now again, what's super cool is that it can pivot really easily once we basically Mimikyu set up Trick Room, we bring in Mega Aggron. Keep in mind, the Sun is out with Torkoal, so if we're going against like a Charizard or something like that, but if we go against Charizard, we just switch out, right? But either way, Mega Aggron doesn't really like the Sun, but he can just tank things because there's all physical attackers like Garchomp, like Sneasler. There's a lot of physical attackers that are out there. You know, Incineroar, yes, Flare Blitz and the Sun does hurt too, but if you just play around it or just replace the weather, you're good to go. But again, we have the Mega Aggron there for a defensive tank. We set up a couple Iron Defenses, or we just hit with Heavy Slams as well too. No Fairy-type Pokemon likes to take the Heavy Slam, and even just 1 Iron Defense is good to go. And also, it's a very, very bulky tank. While, again, the Torkoal is spamming Eruptions next to it. So, really good Pokemon on the Trick Room team is Mega Aggron. Cool, and our 4th Pokemon on the core is basically Tyranitar. Now, again, Mega Aggron, super weak to fire types. Tyranitar loves to go with that. Again, Tyranitar, the rock and dark Pokemon, doesn't really need much of an introduction. It is insane. It has a Mega. We don't use it. But basically, again, it's bulky damage plus weather control. So if for some reason we don't like the Sun, we can switch out to Sand, right? Because of the ability Sand Stream. Also, to say, for example, if they have a Pelipper that switches our Sun into water, and then now we're going against a pure water team, Tyranitar can come in and then replace the weather with his own Sand Stream too. So, the movesets on Tyranitar, basically Rock Slide. 75 base power, 90% accuracy, but also 30% of flinching opponents. Keep in mind, Mega Charizard Y does not like Rock Slides at all. A lot of flying type Pokemon hate Rock Slide. Dragonite, they don't like Rock Slide. It's also a multi-hitting move, so if you're in Trick Room, Rock Slide will come off too. Now, we also teched in Ice Punch. This is actually really cool, and we saw this in a tournament. But Ice Punch, 75 base power, 100% accuracy, single target. You can freeze for 10%. But, again, Dragon-type Pokemon like Garchomp, like Drampa, right? Like Dragonite, they don't like Ice Punches. This thing can one-shot a Garchomp if it's not defensively invested. Also, knock off a super solid dark move, only 65 base power, but the move is doubled by 50% if the target is holding an item. A lot of Pokemon are holding items, so you knock off that item. So, for example, if it's a berry, right? If it's leftovers on a Sinistcha, again, it's a knockoff is a very powerful move. Stab move because Tyranitar is a dark type Pokemon. So either rock sliding, you're ice punching, or knocking off, or you're protecting. right? Now, the EVs is basically we have max HP, max attack 204, which is super bonkers. We have a little bit of special defense, because look at his defense right there. 130, absolutely insane. So Tyranitar is a beast. We also have the Citrus Berry. Citrus Berry allows you to heal. That is the item that we have on it. And also, again, we have the Sandstorm ability, which basically just summons a Sandstorm for 5 turns when this Pokemon enters battle. So it's great for Weather Wars. And again, usually people think, oh, they're going to set up the sun. We have the Tyranitar in there to kind of cover, and it controls the tempo a lot. Now, this is the 4 core that I had the most success with. Again, Mimikyu, Torkoal, Aggron, and Tyranitar. Every time I played it, I was like, ooh, I need this, I need that, I need this. So I'm always bringing these 4 Pokemon. But to give us some more coverage, we still have 2 more slots. And the next Pokemon that we're going to talk about is Primarina. Now, Primarina is a great Pokemon on our team. It is a water fairy-type Pokemon, a special attacker as well, too. Keep in mind, we have Torkoal as our special attacker, Mimikyu physical, Aggron is physical, and then Tyranitar is physical as well, too. So, Primarina, right? The fairy water-type Pokemon. Great water coverage and great special damage coverage as well, too. With the ability Liquid Voice. What that does, basically, Pokemon sound-based moves become water-type moves. So basically, that means Hyper Voice, which is a normal-type move, now becomes a water-type move. So this is basically a 90 base power water move. So Primarina does get the stab on it, and it hits all opponents. So this basically becomes a water stab 90 damage move. So the moves that we have on Primarina are Hyper Voice, again 90 damage spread move. We also have Energy Ball. This is what we counter against other water type Pokemon. Energy Ball, and not a lot of people really realize that Primarina can run Energy Ball. It's again a 90 base power, 100 accuracy, and it also has a chance of lowering special defense, but it does pretty well 90 base damage onto any water type Pokemon. Primarina is a pretty big bulky wall and can do really well using Energy Ball. Next we have Moonblast. I was using Dazzling Gleam at some point, but I really like the single target Moonblast. Again, 95 base power plus stab. Primarina is a fairy type. It also has a chance of lowering special attack, but 95, not a lot of dragons like to sit in front of this, and just moonblasting things over and over and over. Even if it's neutral damage, it's still really, really big. And then also we have Protect for Primarina, because again, it's doubles. Pretty much all our Pokemon do have Protect in case of Earthquakes, in case we do something else. 2v1 Protect wins the game. Now we also have Leftovers as our item. Leftovers is great. You basically recover every single turn. Now keep in mind, look at Primarina. Again, 187 HP. We have 96 defense. Not the greatest, right? But we did a special attack for 195, which is absolutely insane. That's a lot of damage for sure. And again, special defensive bulk, 126 or 136, right? So it's special defensive bulky. Now we did lower its speed. We have the quiet nature. The reason why we did that is just because Trick Room is the big move here. If we don't set Trick Room, we pretty much lose. There has been times where Primarina did become the fastest thing on the board later on, but it's very, very rare. So we kind of go for the Trick Room. Win or lose, that's how we get it, right? Also, it's pretty slow regardless, so we just kind of took away its speed and just gave it more special attack. So again, it's still useful in the sun with Moonblast and Energy Ball. Yes, Hyper Voice, you don't really want to use it in the sun, but it still does all of its great. It's a great special attacker for our team. The final Pokemon on the team is Excadrill. This is rounding out our second mode, which is our sand mode. So basically, we have Tyranitar and Excadrill. Those two Pokemon are basically best buddies. They're really, really solid. We have Excadrill that does a ton of damage very, very fast with the ability Sand Rush. Basically doubles the Pokemon speed in a sandstorm. Tyranitar sets up the sand, and then Excadrill just goes zoom, zoom, and just bodies anything on the board. Now, basically, we have the speed stat of 154. We're also Jolly Nature 2. We're basically just making this thing zoom, zoom, zoom. And it's insanely fast in the sand. So basically, we just one-shot anything with its high attack stat of 187. Also, too, with the typing of Ground and Steel. Fairy-type Pokemon don't like Steel types, right? Steel-type Pokemon don't like Ground types. Again, Ground and Steel is a very, very solid coverage. Now, keep in mind, this is weak to Fire, but we also have the Rock Slide. But let's get into the moveset really quick. Iron Head. This is a big, big stab move. 80 base power, 100% accuracy, 20% chance of flinching. But again, Whimsicott hates this move. Again, Floettes hate this move. A lot of Fairy-type Pokemon do not like this Iron Head. None of these Pokemon want to take it. Also, Rock Slide. Great for Fire-type Pokemon like Charizard Y. 75 base power, 9% accuracy. You don't get any stab, but due to your high attack stat, Rock Slide is crazy. Also, if you're spamming Rock Slide with Tyranitar, it's super insane. Now, also, we do have Earthquake. Earthquake, 100 base power, 100 accuracy. Also, if Pokemon or targets use Dig, it doubles the damage, but that's kind of like a weird niche that it has. But 100 base power hits anything on the board. That's why Tyranitar has Earthquake, so if we need to, we set up the sand. Tyranitar is like, yo, you do this, protect, and then we set up Earthquake and just do a bunch of damage with our Excadrill. So, again, max attack, max speed, jolly nature. It's the fastest thing. Now, we don't bring in Excadrill a lot because of Trick Room, but we do have, it's a really good sand mode option in case we do. Also, it kind of throws off opponents. They're thinking, oh, are they going to go into Trick Room or sand? Or they think we're going to go sand and we just go straight Trick Room. The item that we have on it is Focus Sash because, again, Excadrill can get one-shotted by a lot of things, but the Sash allows you to stay at 1 HP, and you can also survive in the sand too. So, again, it's very, very match dependent. You're playing fast versus slow. And that is the 6 Pokemon on our team that got us to Master Ball. Alrighty, that was the team that got me to Master Ball. Again, here's the team ID if you guys want to try it out. Feel free to use it. Again, it's not perfect, so keep on practicing and adjust it to your playstyle. Let me know in the comments down below what you would change or what teams you guys are running now. My name is Sajwama. Subscribe for more Pokemon Champions content, and thank you so much for watching.